Suck in the guts, guys, with the Ghostbusters.
Hello, my trigger-happy friends. My name is Stevie Cade, and thank you for joining me as we continue this journey reviewing the two original Ghostbusters movies and the reboot. We got Ghostbusters Afterlife releasing this summer, so I thought, what better time to review this series than now? Plus, I love Ghostbusters. I've grown up with Ghostbusters. I'm just kind of using reviews as a chance just to rewatch these movies over and over again. But before we dive in, if you could hit that subscribe button and the little bell ding thing so you get notified every time I upload a new video. All right, guys, grab your keyboards, head down to the comment section, and let's review Ghostbusters 2. The highly anticipated sequel that took 5 years to come out. A lot of that waiting on Bill Murray, which seems to be a very consistent theme through almost any movie with Bill Murray.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true.
In full disclosure, I will tell you when I was a child, I thought this was the superior Ghostbusters movie. Now reviewing it, I realize why. And we'll get to that in this review. So let's jump into what I do like about this movie. I really enjoy the storyline of the Ghostbusters being shunned by the city and the community. I think it gives them depth. They're not high-in-demand heroes. They're essentially paranormal exterminators that took care of a citywide infestation. Now that there's not an infestation of ghosts anymore, who are you gonna call? Nobody. You're not gonna call anybody because we don't need your help right now.
Something's changed in the neighborhood. Who are you gonna call?
Let's go get a beer, all right?
Yeah, so them saving the city in the first movie was actually their demise in this one. They got rid of the ghosts, which is weird. I guess ghosts only exist when there's some sort of supernatural being that brings them around, I guess. That's the type of ghost that we have here. I mean, heck, even in the trailer for the new movie, there haven't been any ghost sightings in 30 years. That's weird now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, and much like the original film, the charisma of the cast was at the forefront of this movie. Though the plot is a bit disjointed and kind of doesn't make sense, the chemistry between everyone is the same. And that's pretty much what carries these two movies through. You can tell on screen that they probably have a good friendship off screen as well. And Lewis becomes a Ghostbuster in this movie. You know, I have to say Rick Moranis' character Lewis, even though he's an underdog, in both movies, we got to see him get what he wants. I mean, in the first movie, he got the girl, kinda, in a weird way. And in this one, he became a Ghostbuster.
I did it! That was great! I'm a Ghostbuster!
You know, he's not just one of those, oh man, almost this time. No, he usually gets what he wants. It's always cool to see the underdog come out on top like that. I also really enjoyed the idea of using positivity to unite the city to defeat Vigo. The city comes together and defeats the main bad guy. It's not just the Ghostbusters. And it's New Year's. This is a New Year's movie, everybody. This is the New Year's movie.
Happy New Year!
Only because I don't have a huge list of New Year's movies to choose from off the top of my head. The love story that grows between Janine and Lewis.
Do you maybe want to... Oh, no. Do you want to have something to eat with me?
Well, yeah, I'd love that.
And I love her makeover in this movie, by the way. It's very quirky. I like quirky. But they actually seem like a cute couple. I know in the first movie they kind of played with her being obsessed with Egon, and I'm glad they abandoned that because these two are perfect together. Although their chemistry and just who they are as characters very much mirrors Rick Moranis' other film, Little Shop of Horrors, that came out just a few years before this one. So maybe they kind of cherry-picked that idea and put it in this movie. And let's not forget the soundtrack. I don't know why I didn't mention the soundtrack in my first review for Ghostbusters. Missed opportunity there. So I'm going to rectify that now and say Ray Parker Jr. made not only an iconic theme song for Ghostbusters, but it is the theme song for Ghostbusters. But this movie does a good job introducing a few new songs that are good contenders. You know, they still kind of use the same themes as the Ray Parker Jr. song does, but it's a new light, and every time I hear it, I kind of know all the words because it's been instilled in my brain for the past 30 freaking years. It's catchy. I think they did great adding these new songs and giving the Ghostbusters some new tunes. And last but not least, the painting being what's haunted or cursed or whatever, you know, and the theory that the paranormal can attach to materialistic things. I thought that was a really cool aspect that they took with the bad guy here. But that bad guy kind of flows right into what I'm on the fence about when it comes to this movie. Vigo. Okay, so I had a complaint about the first Ghostbusters movie where I said Gozer wasn't really illustrated throughout the movie. So you weren't attached to Gozer when you saw Gozer at the end of Ghostbusters. You're like, oh, that's not Zool? Somebody must have thought the same thing, because they went in the complete opposite direction with Vigo here. Quite the pendulum effect here. They swung one way, didn't show the bad guy in the first movie too often. Then they swung this way where the bad guy is in your face all the time. There's a balance there, Ghostbusters. There's a balance. I enjoyed seeing the bad guy a lot more, knowing more about him, getting in depth with him. You see his story kind of unfold before your eyes throughout the movie, which is a good thing. But he's literally everywhere. Maybe a little less Vigo in this movie. I'm a little on the fence about the costume changes with the Ghostbusters. They have those black suits now. I like them. They're cool, but they're randomly in this movie. It would have been cool to hear them talk about, you know, oh, I'm making a new suit to protect us from this or that or the other, and then have the reveal in the final battle of the new black suits. No, you don't really hear about them. They don't mention them at all, actually. It's just there randomly. I think they only made them just so they could have new suits for the posters. Now for what I don't like, and unfortunately there's quite a bit I don't like about this movie. This is rewatching it now. As a kid, I thought this was the superior movie, but it's not. Where the fuck did the baby Oscar come from and why? Like, okay, I know where babies come from. Have fun in the comment section with that. But the concept of Oscar, it's a very odd choice. I mean, could they not come up with a better plot device than a baby? If they had to have a baby, couldn't it have been Venkman's baby? That would make sense. They were together. They even talk about how it didn't work out. That could still be his kid. That's why he's still in the picture. Between the first movie and this movie, she met a guy, had a baby, and split up already. It's just a weird thing. Well, we need a baby because Vigo needs a baby to inhabit its body and blah, 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 and all this other crap. Even with that storyline, it still could have been somebody visiting, a cousin visiting, she's babysitting. I don't know. It was a weird thing to make that her kid. Borderline bad storytelling. No, actually it is bad storytelling, which is what is also on my list of things I don't like about this movie. The entire plot, story, and concept to me is rubbish. It doesn't make any sense. I can get behind the supernatural painting ghost thing. I get it. Supernatural stuff happening. There is suspension of disbelief you need to have with this movie. But it kind of takes the audience to be fools. Which I guess I was. As a child, they fooled me. Good for you, Ghostbusters. You fooled a child. Like, for instance, where is this slime coming from? Slime just doesn't appear. Yes, they explain it's a negative energy collected from the city, and it's flowing to the museum. But why? It's just throwaway dialogue to kind of help move the story forward. There's no real point in the slime. It doesn't make any sense to me that why the slime exists.
Slime! It's a river of slime!
And when the slime shows up as a character almost, like at the very opening scene of this movie, what's its plan exactly? This is obviously some weird ghost shit happening because of the slime. But what's the slime's purpose? What's its intention for moving this carriage? I mean, the whole storyline of Vigo wanting Oscar or even knowing about Oscar hasn't even played out yet. So this is a coincidence that it's Oscar that it's trying to take. But what's it going to do when it has Oscar? Or like the bathtub scene, when the slime comes into the bathtub and then it reaches for Dana and the baby. What's its plan? What's it going to do if it grabs that baby that it needs? It wants the body so Vigo can jump into that baby's body and be raised by Dana. If the slime would have grabbed Oscar, what would it have done with Oscar then? It's down the drain? Take the baby down the drain, I guess. Again, it's just lazy writing. Random scenes to keep things intense. And speaking of Vigo jumping into bodies, what about at the end when Vigo jumps into Ray's body?
Ray! No! I, Ray, and Vigo shall rule the earth! Be gone, you pitiful!
Can he just do that now? Like, why hasn't he done this yet? Why cause all this ruckus, cover this museum in that slime shell, draw all this attention to himself, when he can just jump into any body at the museum quietly and discreetly, and then walk away and continue his plan stealthily? I think this was just written in there because Dan Aykroyd likes to dress up in costumes, which he's shown in other movies, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. And then we have the Statue of Liberty walking through New York. Again, was there no better way to instill positivity and inspire the city while finding a way to break into the top of the museum? I don't understand why they needed this Statue of Liberty to do that. They had that positively charged slime. They could have, I don't know, went to the other building across the street and sprayed it over top the window area, so that slime would have, dismissed, and then he could have got over there and broke the window that way. A helicopter, a ladder, anything would have made more sense than the fucking Statue of Liberty. They had to leave the city, go across the bay. They probably spent hours doing this. This timeline is just jacked. Again, when I was a child, I thought this was so cool. I thought, man, I want to ride the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty really inspires people. I understand why they're doing this. This thing is frightening. If I lived in New York and I saw the Statue of Liberty walking towards me, crushing cars, destroying everything in its path, I would not be inspired to be more positive. I would run the other way in fear for my life. This doesn't make any sense.
She's a Harvard chick!
But as an adult, I see what this movie's integrity is. This movie was selling to kids. That's why I loved it growing up. It was marketed to me, not to adults. As an adult, this movie, it's okay, but it's nowhere near as good as the first one because their integrity changed. They weren't just telling a good story. They're like, we can market towards kids now, so let's stick to that. And the whole Statue of Liberty, that is the definition of jumping the shark. You could probably take the term jumping the shark and now call it walking the liberty. But how did people make this movie and not see how bad of an idea that was? And for those of you who don't know what jumping the shark is, episode of Happy Days, Fonz was water skiing, a shark got in his way, so he jumped over the shark because he's the Fonz. Hey, he can do whatever he wants. And now it's always been an explanation of something a movie does because they think they can. I don't know. Google it. But overall, this movie was okay. I know I just ripped it a new one, but the cast, again, carries this movie through. Because they are charismatic, because they are funny, and there are some character developments that I really enjoy about this. But the overall story and plot are just, ugh. They're shallow and just there for convenience. They don't capture the same magic as they did in the original movie. And I hope they rectify that with Ghostbusters Afterlife coming out this summer. Because this franchise deserves a good conclusion and or a passing of the torch. But for all the reasons I just gave you, I'm giving Ghostbusters 2 a C-.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I'm fairly disappointed by the score I gave this movie. I was really looking forward to it. I haven't watched it in a very long time, and I just remembered how much I loved it as a kid. And now the adult in me has ruined my childhood. Please, let me know your thoughts below of this movie. I'm very curious to see where you guys stand, especially if you're near my age, how you liked it growing up and how you like it now. And while you're there, make sure you check out some more of my videos right here. And as always, stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.
Now you had another date in mind.
According to my source, the end of the world will be on February 14th in the year 2016.
Valentine's Day.